On July the 25th, 1978, a miracle baby was born in Oldham.
The girl, as was expected.
Test tube babies were seen as the dawn of a new reproductive era, breaking a frontier that was taking us into a new world order.
Louise Brown's birth brought new hope to infertile couples everywhere.
Up until that point, fertility medicine had been called futility medicine because there was apparently so little that we could do other than tell couples to keep trying and consider adopting.
In just a quarter of a century, IVF has completely changed the lives of a generation of couples desperate for a child.
25 odd years in a medical discipline is not a great length of time, and yet it's one that's been most profound because it's been in the reproduction of our own species.
"25 years after Louise Brown's birth, 1 in every 100 babies born in this country is an IVF child.
Thank you so much.
Every year, thousands of couples seek help. And every year, the boundaries of what is possible get pushed further back. Lindsay and Barry Dyson live in Morecambe. They're about to try IVF for the first time. They've been together 13 years. Lindsay trains shop staff and Barry is a police officer. One Christmas day, Barry made Lindsay play Hunt the Prezi. When she opened the boot of her car, she found a ring on a pile of tinsel and a note saying, "Will you marry me?"
It's going to be week before Christmas. Yeah.
On their wedding day, they threw away Lindsay's contraceptive pills and waited to get pregnant. But it hasn't happened. Tests have shown no reason why they can't conceive.
We could get to like 38, it could be another 8 years,
yeah.
and it may happen, but
you don't know.
maybe leaving it a bit too late, so I think we need a bit of assistance.
We're not getting any younger, so we thought we'd do something about it.
A bit shrubs rushing.
No.
Should go nice and
They've been on a waiting list for 2 years for their IVF treatment.
Like friends that get pregnant, they don't like telling you. They're like, oh, you know, I'm really sorry, but
We've
I'm
just had
pregnant.
some
You're like,
friends that have announced that they're pregnant.
we're dead chuffed for you, you know.
Very
We're
chuffed.
not like that. You can't be. Let it bother you. Otherwise, you'd get bitter.
It'd be very
and it
selfish
just
if we
wouldn't-
were like that, but...
No, we're chuffed for people.
Absolutely,
If people are happy because they're pregnant, you know, it's fine.
What do you fancy?
What, for Christmas?
Yeah. Little baby. That'll be Christmas after next, I think.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yeah, I'd love a little Bazzy running around, or, you know, Lindsay, that would be fine. It would make us feel complete, I think. The next stage of the treatment is where Lindsay's got to be injected to start closing her body down. So we've agreed that it's going to be a 2-man operation. I'm going to hold her down and inject wherever, and we'll see how it goes. But no, it's just nice that I can be a part of it.
Lindsay and Barry have agreed to keep a video diary of their experiences during IVF.
Are you nervous?
Come on, just do it then.
I'm nervous.
You're making it worse, just do it.
Right.
Just do what you're doing.
Do I jab it?
No, just put it in nicely.
This is the start of 5 weeks of daily injections, which will stimulate Lindsay's ovaries to produce more eggs than normal.
God, that was horrible.
That there is a bruise from my first night of my injection. These are all my little injection needles that I have to start having in my backside, and quite long, do frighten me a bit.
You might just feel a small prick.
What I'm used to. Bit more of an angle. Some of the injections have been a bit hard because we've been out. And all right, you can take them with you, but it means, because it was the one done in the backside, you have to mix them together and you'd have to find a disabled toilet you can both go in, but doing it in a grubby toilet, and it's not. So, no, we have to come home and stuff like that.
No blood. No blood.
For Lindsay and Barry, Regular visits to the hospital involve a 6:30 a.m. start, a 2-hour drive and time off work.
It's quite nice on a day like today.
Leeds General Infirmary is a centre of excellence for IVF, and they see couples from all over the UK. Today, Lindsay is here to make sure the drugs are working and producing follicles from which eggs can be collected. But with IVF, every visit to the hospital is nerve-wracking because things can go wrong at any time.
Okay, Lindsay. How are you today?
Oh, not so bad, thank you.
Are you
Anxious.
feeling all right?
Make sure it's all right. Yeah.
Right, this is your left ovary. We've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, another little one, 10.
That's
Okay,
good.
that's very good.
That's my sorest side.
Yeah, well, that's why, because the ovary's obviously a bit enlarged now, and they look a bit bigger on this side as well.
Right.
So it's about 14 millimetres.
So what size do they need to be?
We need to get 3 to 17,
Right.
and they grow about 1 or 2 millimetres a day. So what we probably do from here is see you in a couple of days' time. But that looks fine. That's good. Good response.
that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a bit worried.
Yes, I'm sure
Worried
you
for
will.
a day or two, yeah.
I'm sure.
We've got 16 follicles and we're really, really excited. I'm going back to the car, Baz was singing in the street and really embarrassing me, but he was singing in the street because he was dead happy.
We've got 16 follicles, we've got 16 follicles, we've got 16 follicles.
Just like that, singing in the street.
This is one of the big questions that many people ask, is whether infertility is becoming more common. It's very hard to say, because I think the reality is that couples are more prepared to come forward and seek help.
I think when you consider the dedication that couples have to be parents in order to go through all of the hoops, jump over all of the fences, often make the sacrifices that IVF entails, particularly if they don't have NHS funding, then these are very special babies, because these are probably much more wanted than the babies that get made by accident.
The Yorkshire Dales are home to Emma and Alistair Harrison. She's a beauty therapist and he's a print finisher. When they first met 12 years ago, Alistair was too shy to speak to Emma. Instead, he kept turning up for sunbed sessions at her beauty salon. By the time he plucked up courage to ask her out, he was the brownest man for miles. They too will be keeping a video diary.
Ooh, nearly.
6 years ago, when Emma was pregnant with her first baby, Thomas, Alistair was told he had cancer.
I had 9 months, just short of 9 months of chemotherapy. And when Thomas was born, just after I stopped my treatment.
They very much want a second child, but Alistair was sterilised by the chemotherapy. IVF is their only hope. Using sperm he froze before his cancer treatment began.
I find it really difficult because you seem to be incapable of giving things to Emma that you should be able to. Naturally, you'd be no problem with it, but when it does become that you have to have an added, time and actually the eggs have got to be fertilised from my sperm that is frozen. It does. I find it, really difficult. Yeah.
But it's worth it because we've got Alistair here, so that's how I look at it, yeah.
It's a plus point.
Sometimes. No.
No, thank you very much.
No, it's a small price to pay, really. I
we're
think.
very lucky, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are very lucky.
The couple fought for NHS funding for IVF and were given 2 tries.
Oh, that's a good one.
But when they failed to get pregnant first time round, they had to go back to the bottom of the waiting list. It's taken 2 long years to reach the top again. And at 37 and 38, they feel that age is against them.
I'm trying to feel negative this time rather than too positive so that I won't be disappointed. And people keep saying to you, oh, well, you know, miracles happen and all the good advice and things, but it is quite hard.
Emma is being monitored to make sure the drugs are stimulating her ovaries. The injections are difficult for her, but even worse for Alistair.
What the doctor would like you to do is actually increase your dose of Menagon to 3 powders instead of 2.
Right.
Who's doing the injections for you?
My doctors, the nurses
All
at
right,
the doctor, but I have done it myself a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
You've been all right,
Yeah.
have you?
Well, yeah. Alistair
had
can't
to.
even be in the same village when I'm doing it because,
Can't it?
oh no, it's horrendous.
Yeah,
It's terrible, yeah. I think it brings back memories of chemotherapy and
Oh dear.
yeah.
I suppose, yeah, if you've got bad memories, it's not nice really, is it?
And the side effects of the drugs have kicked in.
Emma's been a bit strange at the moment. In the morning, after she's taken drugs, she seems to be very, very edgy.
Sharp scratch now.
She's feeling down. She's got severe headaches at the moment, really, really bad headaches.
All right.
Yep.
That's fine. Okay.
When she's driving, she's very, very tense. Anything that anybody pulls out or anybody tries overtake her or anything like that, she's very aggressive, not happy at all. A bit of road rage coming into it. But that's the only way of becoming pregnant, so the only way out is to do it.
Not being able to do something that the majority of the population can do without apparently even trying is itself very stressful.
It can be a very, very traumatic roundabout, expensive and emotionally draining, and it can affect couples' relationships.
In Leeds, Lindsay is about to have her eggs collected. The embryologists will then fertilise as many as they can with Barry's sperm. Lindsay has 16 follicles, but not all of them will contain an egg. And the fewer eggs, the lower their chance of a successful pregnancy.
You see the follicle there. You'll see the needle going into the follicle in just a second. Okay? And you can see the follicle collapse as the fluid gets sucked out of it. Collected the fluid from the first follicle.
No, there's no egg in that. There's some cumulus, but I've not seen an egg.
Things are not going well. Is this the end of Lindsay and Barry's hopes?
Is it half an hour? It feels like 10 minutes.
Lindsay Dyson is coming round from her egg collection. Her 16 follicles produced only 6 eggs, below average.
Love it and feel it.
Now it is time for Barry to do his duty.
From a chap's point of view, well, you can either clam up and be all taboo about the situation, or you can just get on with it. It may be a bit clinical what you've got to go through, but I'm sure it will be worth it in the end.
Just give you this now.
6 eggs mean Lindsay's chance of getting 2 good embryos have just become slimmer. The eggs and sperm are left overnight. Tomorrow, the hospital will let them know if any have fertilised and started to form embryos. All their hopes hang on that call. Emma Harrison is waiting up to do her last injection. It must be exactly 36 hours before egg collection.
20 to 12 now, and we're waiting until 20 past 12 for me to have my injection. And then 36 hours later, I'll have my egg collection. So this is it now. Sort of half excited and half apprehensive.
Allergic to penicillin, do you?
No.
What time is it?
A day and a half later, Emma is ready for egg collection, and Alistair is by her side, despite his dislike of needles and hospitals.
There we go. That's one. That's super. Well done. Good. That's your first egg. Well done. Some follicles are a little bit more uncomfortable than others, particularly those around the edge of the ovary.
Emma's sedated,
That's it, well done.
but for Alistair, the whole thing becomes just too much.
Just had a big, massive panic attack. Thinking back to the days when I was in hospital. I was absolutely petrified. Just brought everything back.
That's the last in the needle flush. Okay.
She came back out about 20, 30 minutes later, came past me.
Okay, that's good. And where's hubby? Has he gone off already?
This stage I'd totally lost everything. Everything.
You all right?
I just got to.
Feel a bit hot?
No, I just got upset about it.
Okay, we've got about 16. The final count will come back in a little while. All right, okay. So do you want to go back up to the ward with her? Or do you want to stay down here for?
Stay down here.
Okay, all right.
I didn't know what was going on really. Just burst out crying.
Okay.
Couldn't stop myself.
There is a huge cost to IVF, and it's not just financial, it's emotional. It puts people under huge pressures.
So one may be feeling strong and the other very weak, and I think that's one of the things that couples find very difficult, is that they're experiencing different things at different times.
Mummy's been to the hospital again today, hasn't she?
Yes,
And what's up with Mummy? What's she got downstairs?
The baby.
No, she's got a poorly tummy, hasn't she?
Yeah.
She's got a poorly tummy. So, no, look at that. So, Mummy's having some rest, isn't she?
Bit apprehensive about the phone call tomorrow to see what's happened with if there's any embryos to put back on Saturday. But it went okay today. I slept quite a lot, which is good. And we'll just wait and see what happens tomorrow morning now.
Lindsay and her mum are at home. All they can do is watch the clock and wait for the call which will tell them if any eggs have fertilised.
How did it go on yesterday?
I was a bit sore on the way home over at Bumps.
I was thinking about it. Thinking about your.
They're going to ring this morning, I'm nervous.
Oh.
See if they only got 6. Yeah.
You only got 6.
Well, I'm saying only. It's no. Only takes one.
I'm feeling all nervous for you.
Oh no. Barry will be nervous at work. It's a shame. She was at home.
75 nerve-wracking minutes later, the hospital calls.
Hello? It is. Hi. Okay. Oh, right. Nervous. All right, thank you. Bye. 4.
Oh,
well. 4 fertilised.
Oh, lovely.
Oh.
Wonderful. Are you going to phone Barry now?
Yes, I will.
Oh, I'll be thrilled to bits.
Yeah.
You're going to be a mummy.
No, it's a long way to go. Yeah.
Well,
Don't be like that. It's a long way. Okay.
Yes, that's lovely. It's nice to see you laughing, smiling.
Well, that nerves. That's long wait to 5 to 11, isn't it, this morning? Hello? We've got 4. We've got 4 eggs fertilised. You all right? Do you want me to come see you? All right then. Bye. Oh, he's crying his eyes out.
Oh.
Oh, he says I'm loving. He says, but I'm not filming this bit.
The day after their egg collection, Emma and Alistair also wait nervously to hear if any of Emma's eggs have fertilised. Just one phone call could put an end to their hopes of another baby.
Hello? Yes? Peter, can I ring you back in a bit later? All right, thanks. Sorry about that. He's always got excellent timing, as Peter.
You know, every stage has its own hurdles and
every stage can be a stopping point.
Yeah, it can just all finish, you know, and then that would be it then.
Yeah.
So I would like to feel like I could get as far as, you know, having them embryos put back in, and then, you know, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But I'd be disappointed to not even get that far.
Hello. It is, yes, hello. Right. Right. Oh, good. Yeah. All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye, bye. Yeah, they were really good.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, 8 fertilised. So they're going to pick the best ones tomorrow, 10:15.
That's good news.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
It's like being 1 o'clock in the morning, night before the eggs go back in. Neither of us could sleep.
We'll come for a drive.
So we came for a drive. We just laid there, didn't we? Like tossing and turning.
Played a bit of I Spy.
And this is lovely Morecambe at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Very quiet, very dead.
Oh,
I'm tired now.
No, I'm tired. Should we go back to bed?
Okay.
Night.
Bye.
Put her back in.
Right, coming. Okay, Lindsay, could you tell me how you're feeling?
Excited. Extremely excited.
Excellent answer.
From Lindsay's 4 embryos, the hospital has chosen the 2 they feel stand the best chance when put back in the womb.
So I've got our little embryos in.
Doing extremely well. Now, if we look at the ultrasound, you see that white flash? That is the embryos going into the womb.
That's mad.
Good. It's all finished.
They will have to wait 2 long weeks before the pregnancy test, the hardest time of all.
Yeah.
It's all down to nature now.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
It seems to be diminishing. You know, we've had 16 follicles, which have given 6 eggs, which have turned into 4 embryos, and there's 2 good ones gone in, so that should be, hopefully, one more. But if, you know, if 2, well, that'd be fantastic. Be hard work, but, you know, there's 2 of our embryos there. We don't want them to pop off. We want,
No, both of them.
want 2 good embryos, that'd be ace.
It's after those embryos go into the uterus, then there's a 2-week hiatus, when all of a sudden there's an expectation, is it going to work or not? And many women actually feel psychologically that they're pregnant at that stage because they've seen the embryos on the screen. They may even have a photo of the embryos.
Emma has also had 2 embryos put back in her womb and is waiting for her pregnancy test. She's trying to keep her mind off things by going shopping with her friend Charlotte.
Maybe you could get that one.
Last time I was absolutely religious and I sort of was a bit abnormal, really, and I think this time I'm being a lot more relaxed.
That's a little bit on
If you can keep your well-being and your state of mind healthy, that does help. You feel like you're doing everything that you possibly can.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to sort of think, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't done that. That might be why I'm not pregnant.
Sometimes Em feels that she's pregnant, sometimes she feels that she isn't. Sometimes she gets really scared that things won't work out. It's very, very difficult to know what to do, what to say really a lot of the time.
I do keep having very weird dreams. I think it's there sort of in my subconscious somewhere, but I'm trying to stay calm. And I do keep asking Alistair what he thinks, but
But he hasn't been sleeping very well. The other night he went down and had a glass of my grandma's sherry, which he hates sherry. But yes, I think he must be more nervous than he's letting on.
This is all setting off for the hospital.
It's 6 in the morning on the day of the pregnancy test, and the tension has been getting to Barry.
I think it'll be really difficult if it doesn't work. It's going to be quite devastating, especially as the amount of people that know about it and wish you well, and you know, we need that support of family and friends. But to turn around and tell them that you've got to go through all that and say it's not working, then they'll try and G you back up and offer you support, which, yeah, again, is great, but that'll be very difficult.
Right, which arm would you like? I don't mind either.
2 hours later, Lindsay and Barry are in the hospital for the pregnancy test.
Don't be fainting, not carrying you out.
The hospital takes blood in order to get an accurate hormone level, but it will take 6 hours to get the results.
There we are. Just press on there nice and hard. Just get rid of this.
After a 2-hour drive home to Morecambe, Lindsay and Barry are watching the minutes tick by and dreading the call they have to make.
In the last couple of hours, it's starting to get worse, isn't it? I'm really
And your phone.
Yeah, it's pumping now.
I've delegated your phone in.
Mm.
But it is hard. It's hard to stay positive all the time.
If it's going to do it, it's going to do it.
Yeah. If it's going to cling on, it will, won't it? So.
Lindsay and Barry are calling the hospital to find out if they are pregnant from their first IVF cycle.
Yeah, it's Barry Dyson, Alison. Hello. Hi, you all right? Yeah, pretty enough, yeah. Right. All right. Thanks, Alison. Bye. Gutted. No.
Okay.
Sorry, Paul.
It's not your fault, is it?
Even in the best units in the world, in the most fertile couples, at least half of them will fail in a single cycle.
And I think couples need to regard embarking on a course of IVF as a bit like embarking on a course of antibiotics. You don't stop after the first tablet just because you don't feel better.
One of the very big problems too is that it's a merry-go-round. Once you get on, you can't get off. And I think one of the things people need to do is to think very carefully before they get into it, how many attempts they're going to have, and then to stick to it.
See you later. Come on then. Bye.
See you later.
In the Dales, Emma and Alistair are clear that this is their last attempt at IVF. By the end of the day, they will know if it has worked.
We sat down and decided that this would be our cut-off point. Not for any fact that financially or time, but because we don't want to...
Psychologically, I think you've got... Well, for us, we've got to have a...
You've got to cut off and just say, well, that's it.
I
think it takes so much out of you that a lot of people who haven't been through it won't understand what mentally and physically it does to you.
Right, you can look now. My hero.
5 hours later, Emma and Alistair are back home and preparing for news, good or bad.
Are you going? Do you want to ring?
No.
Oh, my heart's going tense, doesn't it? Right. Karen? It is, yes. Oh, oh good. Positive.
Positive.
Very good levels as well. Oh, I'm in shock. I will, Karen, thank you. Bye. Oh, so pleased. Oh, well, there we go. You're right. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm shocked.
I'm shocked. Gosh. That's me now, feet up. No washing up.
Things won't change then.
I'm going to make the most of this one. No.
Again?
No, I didn't have much of one last week. You were ill the whole time.
Oh, thanks.
Selfish.
Oh, yes.
Stole my limelight.
Selfish stream. Just had cancer. Oh, God.
Go on.
2 weeks later, the Harrisons are in Leeds to find out if all is well with their pregnancy.
Here we've got the lining of the womb, and here's one sac, just there, and here's a second sac, just there.
There's two.
Well, at the minute it looks like there's definitely 2 sacs there. So we'll just go and have a look at the biggest one first. Bring this leg right up for me. See, there's a circle here, and if we all concentrate, you see the flicker in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's the heartbeat there.
Oh.
So in this sac here, there's a yolk sac, there's a fetal pole, and there's a heartbeat. All right? So let's have a little look in the second one. This one here, at the moment, I can't see anything within the sac to suggest that there would be a pregnancy there.
Right.
So at the minute, definitely 1, possibly 2, but it may well just be that this second sac's grown at a bit of a slower rate.
Right, okay.
But this one looks fine and exactly what we should expect to
Oh,
see.
good. We were really pleased and thrilled that we saw the 1 heartbeat. We both, I think, would be really thrilled as well if it was 2, but yeah, you feel a bit greedy. 1's enough. So we're all really happy, and Thomas is absolutely chuffed to bits and keeps thinking of names, and he's really pleased.
How many butties do you want? 1?
1.5.
5 months after their negative pregnancy test, Barry and Lindsay Dyson want to start IVF again. But it's a case of once bitten, twice shy.
It was a whole new adventure last time. It was something we'd not experienced, so of course there's massive excitement there, and we're sort of quite confident it was going to work, maybe a little bit too confident. So, but this time we know what we're going to go through, so it's we are excited, but probably suppressing it a little bit this time.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you again.
Hi.
Hi.
Perhaps consultant Adam Balin can help them to find out what went wrong first time.
So what will we do different if you were to go through the treatment again? We would probably give you a slightly higher dose of drugs to stimulate the ovaries. Right. Not very much higher, but we would like to have a little bit more of a margin of safety to ensure that we have sufficient eggs and embryos, because we just made it, really.
Yeah.
So disappointing, I appreciate, but technically it was a good cycle, and
At least it wasn't negative.
it wasn't completely negative, and it is, as I said, reassuring for the future, and I certainly feel that it's worthwhile persevering.
Yeah, we will do. Anything that we can do to probably help us between our next treatment or not? Because it's like unexplained.
It's a very good question, and I think that's one of the hardest things that couples find very difficult, is that it's kind of out of your hands. But no, there's nothing specific that you yourselves can do. Okay. So, keen to have another go?
Yeah.
And we'll do our very best to help.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay.
Emma's first scan showed 2 embryos, but only 1 had a heartbeat. A week later, she's back, hoping to hear that she's expecting twins.
Okay, so that's one sack, all right. Now this is the other sack. I'm just having a careful look through there. Actually, there's still something there.
Yeah, I
look,
just
isn't
saw that, yeah. Oh,
It's definitely
So
a
is that
heartbeat there, that's 2. And this one's not as clear, but it's just tucked right in the corner. That's not a problem, it's just where it's growing.
but that means
Okay.
it's 2.
At the moment it is 2. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, oh no. You're right.
Yeah.
It's not even thinking our wildest dreams when we set off that we would be thinking about having twins. But fantastic. I think best thing that's ever happened to us. Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic.
Tell us what day it is today.
It's Monday.
No, tell them what
It's
day
our
it is.
anniversary.
There you go.
7 years of marriage. Anniversary.
And what is it tomorrow?
Our egg collection day.
And tell them what we're doing for you tonight. I put you up in a nice hotel, so we don't have to travel all the way tomorrow.
Yeah.
Taking you out for a meal to some burger bar. Are you feeling all right?
Yeah, I don't feel so bad.
Good.
Don't feel too bad.
So we'll see how it goes in the morning.
Yeah, I'm getting up at 6, 6:30. So I can go down and have a bit of toast.
As Lindsay goes in for her egg collection, they are hoping to end up with more eggs than the 6 they had last time.
There's some good cells and there's some cumulus. And there's an egg.
Okay, so we've got the first egg. Another follicle.
And there's another egg.
Good. Everything is going very well, Lindsay, okay? They're coming nicely.
We've got another egg.
You did very well, okay? We've got 18 eggs, a very good number, more than expected, okay?
18 eggs is well above average. For Lindsay and Barry, it feels like they've got a better chance this time round.
Feeling sicky, but I've got it all under control a bit now.
Emma's last scan showed twins. She's now 7 weeks pregnant. But today's scan in Leeds has brought bad news.
This first one has grown fine. It's measuring what it should do. It's 8 weeks. The second one is obviously a lot smaller. Last week it measured 5 millimetres. This week it's only measuring, what did I get there? 6, wasn't it? I can't see a heartbeat there today. We definitely saw one last week.
Yeah.
I don't think, to be honest, this one's going to continue. It shouldn't have any effect on the other one.
Oh, God,
all right.
yeah, so sorry.
As this one grows, this sac will actually just get squashed up and will eventually just disappear. Will just be absorbed.
Right, yeah, okay.
Okay. Are you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of a shock. I just feel a bit weird really because we've been so thrilled about everything so far. Perhaps people lose twins early on and never even know that they've had one, but can't help the fact that we have and it's not there anymore, so not much else to say really.
Two days after their egg collection, Barry and Lindsay are back in Leeds.
It's still unsure whether...
They're about to hear if the quality of their embryos is good or bad.
So you had 9 eggs fertilised yesterday. All of them, apart from one, have gone on overnight. So we've got 8 good quality embryos. So we'd like to transfer 2 embryos back to you today, Lindsay. They've both divided to 4 cells.
Excellent.
Okay. So any questions at all?
No, it's good.
No? Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, shall we get cracking?
Just try to be as relaxed as possible. I know it's very easy for me to say that, okay, but...
Oh no, don't press too hard.
Okay, good. Okay. We need to wait for 1 minute now, okay?
Okay.
We need to check the catheter now to see if they have come out of the catheter, okay?
That's all clear, you've got them.
Perfect. So everything went fine, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Just like last time, the couple have good embryos. And just like last time, they have to wait 2 weeks to find out if they're pregnant. There is nothing more anyone can do.
The frustrating thing is, we know it works because we've made embryos and we made good quality embryos, didn't we? So we know the ingredients are there. It's a bit like making a good souffle, but it doesn't rise in the oven, you know. So we know we can do it, we just can't get it to stick. So.
We have to be positive it'll work, but
we have to
if
be
it
realistic
doesn't,
as well.
if it doesn't work again, then we'd save up and pay for it ourselves.
Emma Harrison is now in the care of her local hospital, and her pregnancy is progressing normally.
Look, who do you think this is?
The baby. Is it already out?
No, it's still in my tummy. They took a picture of it in my tummy, look. What do you think?
That's his tummy.
That's his tummy. That's his nose. And guess what? He's got big ears, just like Daddy. That's what you looked like when you were in Mummy's tummy. What do you think to that then?
Is that the blood?
Well, it could be. I think that's probably Mummy's tummy.
Where's your food?
My food?
Two weeks after their egg collection, Barry is phoning the hospital for the results of their pregnancy test. Have they been lucky second time round?
Here we go again.
Hello, reproductive medicine.
Yeah, good afternoon. I'm phoning up for some blood test results that we had done this morning, please.
Right, what's your partner's name, please?
Lindsay Dyson.
Okay, so you'll have heard this before, but anything over a level of 40 we class as a good positive.
Right, what have we got?
Okay, and it's 180.
180.
So it's a good level.
Excellent.
All right, now we've been here before, so it is an early start.
Yeah.
All right, but it is a start.
Right, that's excellent news.
All right.
Cheers, Karen. Thanks
All
for
right,
that.
Barry, thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.
Well done. Beautiful. Oh, well, sit down then, because it's positive.
There's loads of people I need to text.
You have one, I'll have one.
How do you feel?
I don't know.
No, I don't.
That's a bit weird. Doesn't happen to us, does it?
Yeah.
11 years on our own, innit? Then an intruder. Superb.
Lindsay is now 34 weeks pregnant. The day Alistair and Emma have been waiting for has finally arrived. Emma has come into Airedale Hospital to have her baby.
Keep moving. It's quite relaxing, isn't it, listening to that?
The last time Alistair was in this hospital, he was having chemotherapy. Emma wanted a natural delivery, but the hospital has advised her to have a cesarean 2 days before her due date.
Okay.
That's good.
Pulling and pushing. Okay, lots of pushing at the top of your tummy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
A little bit of help here.
Congratulations.
Look at that. Oh, well, you could say.
Can I get the wedge?
Yes, thank you. Well. You don't want me to put it back, no?
Thomas, this is your little brother. You've got a little brother.
Is it a boy?
It's a boy, yeah.
When did it pop out?
When did it pop out?
Yeah.
This afternoon.
When is it still?
Fat.
Yeah.
A little bit
When
fat.
will it get down?
It'll get down soon. He's teeny tiny, isn't he?
Does he want to sleep?
I think he's having a little snooze. He'll be a bit tired. Oh, it's like you sneezing. That's how big you were when you were baby. Can you really?
Yeah.
Look, wow. Why don't you give him a kiss?
Max John Harrison, £8 4 ounces. A very precious baby.